Head back to medieval times and map the world. This is our review of Land vs. Sea.
Land vs. Sea is a tile placement game where players try and build the largest landmass or sea area, and I think the thing I really liked was the medieval map making.
The double-sided hex tiles and scoring expansions really help to keep this game fresh with each play. We'll tell you all about it after this quick how to play.
At the start of each game, a player or a team will either play as the land or the sea.
Players will place their tiles on the main map area, matching the corners of their hex tile to the other tiles that they're placing it next to.
When a land area or sea area is completely closed off, players will score it by scoring the number of land tiles or sea tiles in that area.
Players continue placing tiles and scoring points until the last tile is drawn.
When playing the basic game, the player with the most points wins.
If playing with the caravan and ship rules, calculate the trade routes, and then the player with the most points wins. We were given a copy of the game from the publisher so that we could do this review video.
If you'd like to find out more information or buy a copy of the game, check out the links in the description below.
So this is a fun tile placement puzzle type of a game. You're making a map. If you're the land player, you're trying to make land masses. If you're the sea player, you're trying to make big seas. The bigger that they are, the more points you'll get when you close it off. I found it a lot of fun trying to figure out where you can place your tile in order to close it off, because a lot of the strategy of this game is not only trying to close off your area, but also trying to make sure that your opponent can't. So if they place a tile that looks like it may close it off, you play one that's a little bit more open-ended to keep it spreading. However, that can be dangerous because at some point, if they do close it off, that could be a huge landmass or a huge sea or ocean that they score a lot of points from. So I like the strategy and I like the fun of as you're going along, it's like a puzzle and you're building a map. So at the end, you can look at it, you go, oh, very satisfying.
It does have other like 3 and 4 player modes, but I think this is pretty much a 2-player game. One is the land and one is the sea. And like Kenny was saying, yeah, if I pick land, okay, I'm going to focus on building land, but also equally, I have to focus on also let his sea keep growing, but never let it close off. So like those two kind of synchronize, but they also contradict sometimes. So if I'm trying to close off over here, he'll hurry up and try and close off another end of the map that I still have to keep an eye on. As simple as I thought this was when we started, I was like, oh no, there's a lot more to this than just like, oh, you know, build your big land, I'll build my big sea, and then we'll see what happens.
All of the hex tiles are double-sided as well, and you can play either side. The rule is that you have to place your hex tile so that the edges match up. So if there's land that you're placing this next to, this has to be touching land, this would have to be touching water. And when you slide it in, it has to complete the map. So you're building your map as you go, like a puzzle. But like if you're holding it this way, your opponent may be able to see the back of it, but they won't see what you're looking at. However, you could play either side, but they may have some information, but you could play the other side. So I like that they're double-sided, and each time that you play it, it kind of gives you a way of looking at, oh, I go this way or this way. Also, when they're in the stack, you can see what's on top, but you may not see what's on bottom. So if the top doesn't look that great, you may still pull it, and at the bottom, you're like, oh, I get the bonus action as I go. So we'll see how that plays out.
The artwork definitely caught my eye just because it's got that like medieval vibe. There's like knights, there's like sea monsters. So it's almost like you are building and looking at like a medieval map that you might see on TV or in the history books or somewhere. It just looked kind of fun to me. I was like, oh, okay. Like, oh yeah, there's a little giant squid or a giant whale or something. So, all right, good job.
I really enjoyed the artwork. Before we got this game, I saw a lot of people posting on social media, and I always saw the tiles all laid out, creating the map, or the box with the Land vs. Sea logo. So when we met the publisher at Gen Con and they gave us a copy so that we could do this review video, they were like, oh yeah, don't forget when you're looking at the artwork, find all the Easter eggs. There's lots of Easter eggs on the tile. I'm like, oh, okay. So when we were doing the unboxing, we looked for a few, but I really like some of them. I love the Monty Python ones. Like right here, you have the Starbucks logo right there. I like that not only is it fun artwork in terms of theme for the gameplay, medieval style making a map, but there's also little Easter eggs that are in there, still in the theme of the game, but in there, and if you know them, and it's fun to see them and go, oh, yeah, that's pretty cute.
And then there's some where you look at them and you're like, I don't know if that's a thing, but maybe it is, and then you gotta look it up. Like, here's a rooster walking on stilts in the water, like, is that something? I don't know. Is that a thing? Gotta look it up now. I don't know.
It's a tile placement game. You place a tile, they place a tile, and you want to close off the land if you're the land player, or you want to close off the sea if you're the sea player. But if you happen to accidentally or on purpose close off the opposite, you can still score points based on where the X's are. So that adds an extra element of intrigue as you're playing. Okay, even though this land's going to get closed off anyway, I might as well score because there's a lot of X's, so I can also score even though they're going to score as well. But as you're playing the game, it can get a little bit repetitive after a while. However, there are different ways of scoring as well, because they have the mountain and coral, and they have the caravans and the ship ways of scoring as well. So there's lots of ways that you can make this game more fun each time that you play this, so it keeps it nice and fresh.
I say I'm going to have to go back to the whole medieval map making. I think since I learned that there's those Easter eggs in there, that made me pay even more attention to it just to look for things and stuff. So that really got me focused on the whole map making and like, oh, almost like a Where's Waldo. Like I found that really fun.
Yes, the thing I enjoy most about it as a tile placement game is when you are done playing, you have this map that you can look at, and it's a very satisfying feeling to feel like, yeah, we played a game, but it also feels like you accomplished finishing a puzzle, that kind of a sensation. Whereas a lot of tile placements, you could be done, and it just kind of looks like a blob or a mess of colors. When this one, when you're done, it looks like something. So I really enjoyed that. What did you not like about the game?
I know what they were trying to do, but on some tiles, they had like these little actions. One was play another tile, and the other was actually steal a tile. So that mechanic, I don't think I really saw the point of it or enjoyed it on this one, because really your opponent's going to be holding 2 tiles, and you get to steal one. So, I mean, just looking from the back, okay, maybe like, oh, that looks really good. I really need that. Then you steal it from them. But I felt like that was kind of inconsequential. I mean, whether I took the action or not. I think sometimes I forgot about it because I just thought the artwork was part of the whole medieval thing again.
The thing that I didn't really like about it, it got a little repetitive, even with the scoring expansions that you can add, the different ways of scoring. After a while, it just comes down to play a tile, play a tile, play a tile, play a tile. And I just feel like I wish there was a little bit more to it than that.
Overall, I'm a huge fan of the artwork and just the Where's Waldo of finding the Easter eggs once everything's done. In terms of gameplay, I'm kind of thinking about it more of like a 2-player game. So in terms of 2-player games, yeah, you very have few moves to do, and then it can get kind of repetitive. So I think overall, I'll probably give it a 5.
Overall, I love the theme and idea of the game. I like that when you are done playing, it creates this map and you kind of feel like you're part of the world and the little Easter eggs and the world building. I really enjoy that aspect of a tile placement game. But in the end, it's still a tile placement game, and it's a lot of fun when you're first playing it. You play it enough until you really get good at it. You can add in the scoring expansions and play it. But it does kind of have a shelf life of once you reach a certain point, then we're probably not going to play this game too much anymore. So I really enjoyed it. I think a lot of people will also enjoy it, but I just don't know how long we're going to be playing it. So overall, I'm going to give it a 7. And that was our review of Land vs. Sea.
What'd you think? Do you see this game landing on your game table? Let us know in the comments below.
Once again, we'd like to thank the publisher for giving us a copy so that we could do this review video. And as always, if you're enjoying our content, please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
And I'm Kenny. I go party like a board gamer.